Good morning, Crestwood. It is good to see you and good to be with you again after my week off. Enjoyed my vacation very much. Went to the beach, so I can't say I'm excited to be back, but I am glad to be back and to be with you. So it was so great seeing so many of you all on Easter. What a joy it was to be in the sanctuary again. We're working to look at how soon we can return on a regular basis, and you'll be hearing about that in the next few days, and it's exciting news. So be on the lookout for that. Until we're able to be together again, just know how much we continue to miss you and pray for you and long to be with you. And I'm honored to provide this devotional for you on this Wednesday, April 14th. So today I'm thinking about the word passion. Passion. It's used a couple different ways in our culture. Usually it means like a strong emotion, if you're passionate about something, or it can mean the dictionary says ardent affection, strong love for someone, you're passionate about someone. Another definition for passion is the week of Jesus Christ leading up to his crucifixion, called the Passion of the Christ. And then another definition that the dictionary actually calls obsolete, which I find fascinating, is suffering. Passion is suffering. That's certainly what Christ went through leading up to his crucifixion and resurrection. I don't know that that's an obsolete definition, because another word that relates to passion is compassion, to have compassion for someone. And when you break that down, that means to suffer with. Com is with, and passion is suffer. So to have compassion for someone is to suffer with them. And I love that idea, because it's not caring for someone from afar. It's not taking pity on them. It's entering into their suffering in order to bring transformation out of their suffering. You are taking on some of their suffering. You are bearing their burdens, as Paul says, in order to help them make it through that time of suffering. And so compassion's a strong word. It's a core value for me. Some of you may know I'm a part of an organization called Compassion at Lexington, where our goal is to raise the level of compassion in our community. And next week starts our Let's Give Back week, where we encourage everyone to do an act of compassion for someone else. Anything from making a meal for someone who's sick, to bringing in garbage cans for elderly neighbors, to volunteering for a wonderful organization like Step by Step or Glean Kentucky or God's Pantry. How can we put our compassion into action? I believe we're all compassionate people. I believe we all have the capacity for compassion, but sometimes we don't know how to live it out. And Christ tells the parable of the Good Samaritan, where two people walk by this person who's suffering because he's been beaten. But the third person walks by, enters into that suffering in order to bring about transformation and healing for the person who is injured. And so I believe Christ calls us to enter into each other's suffering in order to bring about change, to bring out transformation. So I really want to encourage you to look around you and to see who's suffering. It's not always visible. It's not always easy to see. It's not always someone lying in the street who's been beaten. Maybe it's someone whose mood has changed. Maybe it's someone who's not speaking as much. Maybe it's someone who's not making eye contact. You know, there's so much suffering in our world today. There are so many people who are struggling because things are not the same. Loved ones are gone. People are sick. People are worried and fearful of the future. They are suffering. And the only thing worse than suffering is suffering alone. And so I want you to look around you and see, who is it that is suffering that you can have compassion on, that you can enter into their suffering with them, that you can help to bear their burdens, to let them know they are not alone. Because I think the first step to coming out of suffering is to know you're not suffering by yourself, but that someone else is walking that journey with you. We're called to walk that journey for each other, Crestwood. So let's be compassionate for each other. Let's find the ways that we can suffer with each other in order to bring about the healing and the transformation that's promised to us through the resurrection. I love you so much, Crestwood. Can't wait to be with you again. And thank you for sharing your compassion with our church and with our community and with the world. God bless you, Crestwood.